What's up, YouTube? It smells like Vin here, and I'm gonna be bringing you guys another album review today. I do not have music playing in the background because someone in my house is trying to sleep right now, so I don't want to be rude. And so yeah, and I'm just gonna hop right into it, and we're gonna be talking about a great slab of old school death metal, and that is Bolt Thrower, War Master. Now, Bolt Thrower are one of the most interesting and unique original death metal bands I've ever heard, metal bands I've ever heard, and just bands I've ever heard. They really have a sound that is all their own. Yes, it's old school death metal. You're gonna get great riffing, fast drums in the beginning anyway, I'll get to that. Really rough vocals, and just a really heavy sound. But Bolt Thrower do it differently than anybody else did, and that's what makes them so great. So, let's talk about War Master, released in 1991. Now, the band's previous full lengths, which were Realm of Chaos, Slaves of Darkness, and In Battle There Is No Law. Now, me and my brother actually reviewed Realm of Chaos, aka Slaves of Darkness. So if you want to check that out, you can go to my channel and you could check that out. That was a fun review to do. But the band changes on this album. In Realm of Chaos, the band could go slow. They had a pretty groove-laden sound in certain songs, but a lot of the time they would be like fast to like ultra fast, like ridiculously fast blast beats and stuff like that. This album strips a lot of those elements away. The band still does speed up, but most of the time they keep a really grinding, slow, sludgy, bass-heavy groove in a lot of these songs, and it's fantastic. The whole focus on this album is a lot less. The power doesn't come from speed; it comes from sheer weight. You know what I mean? You feel like you're being crushed by like a rock or something when you listen to this record, and it's great. So the things that achieve this sound are the guitar tone, and the guitar tone is unbelievably down-tuned and thick and deep and muddy. It's a fuzzy, muddy, sick-sounding guitar tone, and it creates, it almost kind of like paints a backdrop for the rest of the instruments to kind of supplement to it, if that makes any sense. So that's the first thing. Absolutely amazing guitar tone. Second thing is the drums, and I believe the drummer's name is something Whale. His last name is Whale. I should have checked that before I did the review, but the drummer on this record is fantastic. The drums are always played at a great, like, the beats the drummer plays are very groovy, but then he adds these really cool fills into it that gives it a distinction, and it's not overly technical, but at the same time it's not kind of too underwhelming. He just adds the perfect amount of tom work in there. He does really cool things on the ride cymbal, so that's another thing. The drums are very interesting. And then last but not least is the bass, and the bass on this album is great. You don't hear the bass as much as you feel the bass, if that makes any sense. Just the whole album itself is extremely bass heavy, which is of course awesome, and yeah, so that's really cool. And then there is the vocals, and the vocals are again one of the most lowest growls I've ever heard in death metal, and it's crazy. I mean, this dude can go. But he has a rasp to his voice, too, which is great. And, of course, if you know Bolt Thrower, you know that all their lyrics are about war. And, this album is no exception. The War Master, what else would you expect? And again, they could not have picked a better vocalist to sing vocals, or sing lyrics rather, about these topics. And it's phenomenal. So production on this record, I hated it when I first heard it. I remember Bolt Thrower's production just turned me off when I first heard it. I was like, this sucks. But the more and more I listened to them, the more and more I realized that they could not have picked a better production style to fit the music. I always said that Bolt Thrower's production almost reminded me of like a haze. And I know I always use that word to describe production in a lot of albums. I'm sure you guys noticed that. But if there ever was an album that I could, use that word and term to describe it, it would be this. And just Bolt Thrower in general. It sounds almost hard to discern, almost kind of cloudy, as if there's something blocking you from fully hearing what's going on. But I think this adds an amazing amount of atmosphere to the album, because the sound itself is so discombobulating and all over the place and chaotic, that having a production style that adds to that atmosphere is great. And I think, in my opinion, it's another thing that Bolt Thrower do great. They never favored really clean production. Their albums always had a really cool, muddy edge to them, and it makes the album just seem even more grimy and violent and bloody, like the lyrics are talking about. What else is there really to say? The flow itself is great. Like I said, the songs favor a really mid-paced, even slow, sometimes kind of groove-laden style. And yes, they will speed up, but because all the songs are very similar, there's only 10 songs on the album, and they're all great. There's not one bad song on here. And really, you're just getting great death metal song after the next. There really isn't any deviation. All the songs are pretty much the same, but personally, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I could listen like 20 of these songs. They're fantastic. And the album is like 50 minutes, so it's not that long. What else? That's about it. This is a classic old school death metal album. Really, Bolt Thrower are a really consistent band. You could basically can't really go wrong with any of their albums. But I'd say, if just my bias, if you were to pick an album that to get into Bolt Thrower and also to just kind of experience them, I would pick Realms of Chaos or War Master. Both fantastic LPs, but very, very different. I also am planning on picking up their next album after this one, not next, like, recent, which is The Fourth Crusade. It's clever because it's the fourth album, and evidently that album is really slow and really heavy, so evidently it's just kind of like an evolution of what the band was doing on War Master. But yeah, Bolt Thrower, old school death metal, classic shit, highly recommend it. Sorry this review is a little unfocused. I'm pretty tired. It's Sunday, and I gotta go back to school tomorrow, but Thanksgiving break is coming, so I'm excited for that. And of course, I'll have tons of videos for you guys. Thanks again for getting me to 100 subs, and see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.